begins like any other piece by the simple act of learning it. And if you try to learn Candyman, you know it goes along just fine, but right about here, it's like someone took the rug out. So today I want to talk about why, how rib is deceiving you, and how a simple shift in perspective can make this tune sound like a kind of a wonky rag. It's like a very elegant piece for the American folk guitar. So this is Candyman. Now if you've been following this channel for a while, you may have seen I already did attempt to explain this once, but I did do a crummy job. If you're new here, that doesn't matter then, and my name is Kyle Orla, and I do just like making videos about this kind of stuff. So this is take 2 or 1. It just depends. It's all about perception. You're gonna see it's all about perception. Now just to add the most clarification possible, it's not just me and the way I play it. I'm learning it directly from this video of Rev Gary Davis here, so let's check it out. It's pretty simple. Right around here, it's like an added beat. It's pretty weird. Now there's 2 ways of dealing with this. One, you just cut out that one weird beat. There's like an extra beat. You can just cut it out. That's fine. The other way would be to just memorize it as kind of weird, right? It's just kind of a weird little hiccup in the melody. And that's what I did for a long time until I actually learned what was going on. Because there's a way to smooth, oh my gosh, there's a way to smooth this whole thing out. Now there's kind of a lot of prejudice about old music that does kind of get under my skin of like, oh, these folks from a long time ago, they played folk music and they must have not known that, oops, you can't just add a beat, you know, so we better square off the edges. And I don't know about you, man, but Rev Gary Davis is, he doesn't seem to make a whole lot of mistakes. So why would he always make, every time he goes around a song, make a mistake and add a beat, right? It does seem intentional. There's something very intentional about it. And it's through that process alone, that process of just studying note for note what he was doing, that I stumbled across the answer. And the answer is it's not an added beat at all. It's actually a very smooth and elegant song. Now I know I'm not the only one who's figured this out because obviously he had other students that he was directly teaching, but for my own story, I did figure it out on my own, and it's why I really believe in learning songs by ear and by really studying, you know, from the masters, from the source. I do like when we hang out. I do like when we hang out, but also spend time with Rev Gary Davis and do your best to kind of learn from him. And what I came to find was I wasn't really hearing the whole story, and I can almost guarantee that you aren't either. And through my findings, I think it had less to do with myself and more to do with my position in the world and these social behaviors we've developed from the very beginning. It's not like the very beginning, like the Big Bang. It's like the social beginning, like the big hang. What I want to talk about is this thing called entrainment. Now, I'm not like an expert in it at all, but what I know about it is, you know, when you're at like a concert and everybody's just kind of bobbing their heads, right? That is developed through musical entrainment. You all can start to like line up your internal rhythms. Apparently, maybe even your heartbeats will sync. One of the basic forms of entrainment is just like the basic 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's very interesting. After about the second beat, you are already fully primed for that third beat, right? And we are synced. It's kind of a cool magic trick I just played. So our brains are synced. I don't know. What do we do now? Maybe we should stop our dependence on fossil fuels. Because this is at the core level of our human behavior, it's actually very easy to take advantage of. There's a really great video that Vox put out about Radiohead song videotapes that does just this.
This song draws its power from a musical illusion.
Yeah, Radiohead are purposefully hiding something in plain sight, or what you might say plain hearing. That piano should happen on beat 1, but it doesn't.
In Tom's head, it's shifted an eighth note ahead on the and between 4 and 1, syncopating the entire rhythmic pulse of the song.
And yes, I did completely cop the title for this video from that Vox interview, but it's because Rev is doing the exact same thing, so I just really wanted to connect these concepts. So I hope I'm forgiven. So what does this actually have to do with Candyman? Kind of everything. Let me show you here. So when you learn fingerstyle, and definitely like the folk blues thing, you typically learn low, high, low, high. Now that's explaining musical terms as strong beats and weak beats. So your low note is on the strong beat, and your high note is on the weak beat. And it's just kind of the way music generally does work. If you think about like a drum beat, you've got boom, cha, doo, cha. So that low note is heavy and it's weighted, and that's a strong beat. And that snare drum is lighter, right? It's less weighted and it's on a weaker beat. And that's on full display with fingerstyle guitar. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. When you hear Candyman, you're hearing this. It's like a fifth beat added, and it's like seriously, you just took a step and there was no step there. You've all done that. It feels exactly like that when you're trying to play this piece. So here's the thing: if you reverse your picking pattern, which Rev would do all the time, very freely, and you put your thumb instead of on 1 and 3, but on 2 and 4, it completely evens out the entire passage. Check this out. Takes away that hiccup, right? It's just totally even. It gets really backwards. You're hearing the piece backwards. The only question I have left is, if it's such an elegant tune, like why didn't he give any of this away, you know? And I just think it's because, man, he is a trickster. He openly did talk about this, how he liked to, or his students had talked about this, how, you know, Rev liked to mess with them. I think that's exactly what's going on here. And yeah, this is just the basic explanation. If you want to actually learn this tune note for note, I do have that over on my Patreon, along with a slow play along. And so, yeah, check that out. Also, there's another version of Candyman done by Mississippi John Hurt. So you could just check that video out next, and you could learn all the Candymans. Some of them are nasty though. Some of them are dirty. So I don't know if you should learn all of them in front of everyone.